Okay guys, somehow I did it. I reviewed another lengthy and mentally draining Xenogame. Today we'll be covering Xenogears, which came out for the PlayStation 1 in America October 20th, 1998. Holy crap, I was 7 years old. Alright guys, I gotta be honest with you, this game was difficult in both a good and an outdated kind of way. Like, I get it for its time, it was a masterpiece, I'm sure, but playing it now was incredibly frustrating. Xenogears opens up with the ship being taken over by something. Everyone is panicking, trying to evacuate, but it is to no avail. As a last resort, the captain blows up the ship. All you see is a purple-haired lady in the nude, watching the dimly lit sky. Currently, two nations, Kislev and Ave, are at war, for reasons that have been forgotten. Kislev was winning until a new force known as Gebler appeared to aid Ave and turn the war in their favor. You're Feifang Wang, I love saying that, Feifang Wang, a young artist with no memory of his childhood, in a town of Lahan. Like every JRPG ever, everything is great. His best friend's getting married, la-di-da, he visits the good old Dr. Satan, who lives up in the mountain path to exchange a few words, and upon returning to the village, it's under attack by monstrous machines called Gears. During the destruction, something inside Fei snaps as he begins to pilot a gear. After coming to his senses, the town is in ruins and the townfolk are terrified of Fei. He is then exiled, doomed to wander the vast open world alone. But it's not for long as he wanders into a forest and has an encounter with a young girl named Ellie. Ellie is just one of the vibrant cast of characters who joins Fei in his seemingly circumstantial journey.
Throw down your weapon. Make one wrong move and I'll shoot.
Not only do you have Satan, a know-it-all doctor, Bart, a young prince whose kingdom was usurped by his uncle, there's a priest with a gun, and many more. And some of these characters have really deep, depressing, heart-aching stories. My heart even wept for some of the NPCs. In fact, that was probably one of my favorite aspects of this game, was the psyche of some characters. As the true story unfolds, it becomes a tale of humans' fight for freedom. The subject matter becomes severely dark with a religious undertone. Talks of Lamb, Abel, and God are terms you'll become quite familiar with. And the many timelines this game had were extremely perplexing. As Fei has flashbacks throughout his journey, I only became more confused by his backstory and how it affected the entirety of Xenogears. It was only until I looked into a book called Xenogear Perfect Works that thoroughly explained the mismatched timelines and helped clear up my confusion. I can't say the game did a great job tethering the timelines together, especially when they throw a barrage of information at you at once. You could also tell that the budget of this game was reaching its end, and there was much time skipping and characters began narrating the story instead of showing it. The world of Xenogears is open with a whole lot of nothing, which seems to be a trend with many JRPGs, modern and old. Granted, when you do find yourself in an unusual landmark, you find yourself in unique new cities, like Thames, the city floating on the sea, or frustrating grimy sewers. I found the cities to be well developed, interesting to look at and explore. They certainly had a lot of variety, same with dungeons, caves, towers, and other enemy infested places. Some places had puzzles you had to solve, picking the right direction, flipping switches and whatnot. You also get hit with a decent amount of random encounters, not too overbearing. You know a battle is approaching when the music fades out and for some reason you can't jump. And even though there are only 2 locations with heavy platforming elements, this fucking infuriated me. Particularly caves, you'd hear drops of water fall off the stalactites with an echo, or maybe the sound of the wind howling, and that's it. So I tried to jump off a ledge to another ledge, but I couldn't, because apparently the music stopped. So I'd fall all the way to the fucking bottom, and enter a battle, then climb up again, only for the same shit to happen to me multiple times. Not only that, but there's a delay in jumping. I know I'm accustomed to modern games which play fluidly, but oh my god, this element just pissed me the fuck off. On a happier note, one thing Xenogears excelled at was its battle system. In battle, you have action points, the maximum eventually being 7. Each button except circle used either 1, 2, or 3 points. 3 points being the strongest move, and 1 being the weakest. You have the option not to use all your AP, your attack points, action points, whatever you want to label it. The points you don't use get stored away into your AP bar, to later unleash a combination of death blows. Death blows are essential for survival in Xenogears. After using combinations of attacks multiple times, you'll learn a death blow, which does a stupid amount of damage, easily doubling or tripling the damage you normally do without chaining the attacks together. It's critical to mix and match your combination of attacks to learn all the death blows. But that's just ground battle. Battling with your gears is a whole nother monster to master. Like ground battle, you have weak, medium, and strong attacks, all which consume fuel. The stronger the attack, the more fuel. Gears too can perform death blows, but in order to do that, you must store your points. Store points by using your weakest attack. The number at the bottom tells you what level death blow you can use. After you use a death blow, the number will reset to 0. How this links to ground battle is whatever level of death blow you know on the ground is what your gear can do. Opting not to learn all the death blows on foot will leave you weak in gear battles. Note, death blows do consume more fuel than normal. Another thing to consider is running out of fuel. Fuel does not reset after every battle, so it's important to utilize the charge command which replenishes your fuel, or find a spot to tune up your gear. Without fuel, your gear is almost useless. You can use options that don't require fuel, like cast spells, but they won't affect an ally gear, only the person inside the gear. So using a healing spell or an item on a gear will essentially heal the person inside the gear, not the gear itself. There is only one character who can heal gears in the game. Otherwise, you're stuck equipping your gear with a healing item and spending a shit ton of fuel. And finally, one of my favorite things is the booster option. Your turn bar fills up much quicker and your attacks are stronger, but you pay 50 fuel each turn. Still, totally worth it. Furthermore, there is an equipment system. For ground and gears are important, gears even more so. You have 3 slots to equip any item and 1 additional slot for a weapon. It's incredibly important to change your equipment based on your current situation. As the world of Xenogears becomes brutal later in the game, you want every bonus you can get. Example being some items add X amount to your defense if you're fighting in the desert. Now what you equip on your person transfers over to your gears. Example, if you're wearing an ether doubler on a person, and that person fights in their gear that uses ether based attacks, your gear will also do double ether damage. So to maximize the usefulness of your gear's performance, make sure your character's equipment is on point. Now gear equipment, oh ho, 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 ho. You will learn this the hard way. Everyone always does, so listen closely. Gear stats solely rely on what it has equipped. Quick story time. So you know when you're playing a JRPG, you get to a town and it has new, stronger equipment that you could buy, or you could save that money for when you get to the next town, which will obviously have better equipment, so you decide to brave the world until you reach your next area. Well, not in Xenogears. If you do not upgrade your gear as newer shops arise, you're gonna die. You're gonna die so hard. And this game savagely teaches you that upon meeting your first gear boss, Calamity. You will do shit damage, have shit defense, and you will realize you're shit and your gear is shit. It was really mean, but a memorable way to teach you this lesson really early in the game. Take note, most of your money will be going to upgrading your gear, which is not cheap. Moving onward to the god-awful graphics. Okay, I didn't Google anything about this game before I bought it. I simply heard it was great, legendary, a must-play, yada yada. So I went in blind and somehow I still got blinded. Okay, alright, well, it wasn't that bad, but when I first saw them, I was like, holy shit, how did people look at this and think it was good? It takes some getting used to, but after a while, you adapt and you deal. But in Xenogears' defense, I do feel like I'm spoiled by modern-day graphics. Gear battles had 3D models, which didn't bother me so much considering I just got done with Final Fantasy IX. And of course, we have the animated cutscenes, which were my personal favorite. Put anime in any game that works well for me. The anime look definitely had an Evangelion feel to it, you know, that kind of old look. So anyways. But as I said, me adapting was a little rocky at first, but I came to, and I actually enjoyed watching the characters in battle. Little side note, I greatly enjoyed the use of martial arts in this game. The main character was like, man, fuck weapons, I got fists. And I kind of got a little excited when the characters could use their bare hands to take down an enemy. Like, it just makes them that more badass. I really think the initial look of this game threw me off, but now looking back on it, I don't think it was too bad. But you know what was bad? The camera work. At first, controlling the camera was so annoying. It only got better when you learned how to use the camera angle to see whatever the hell you were doing. I'm so grateful I didn't have to manage the camera during battle, because that would have been a nightmare. Finally, the music. Alright, real talk, it wasn't anything special to me. Some of the music actually annoyed me. This was a first for me. I think there were certain tracks that I felt I heard long enough and just simply irritated me while I played. It's not because the track itself was actually annoying or bad. It was just a song I didn't care for on replay, and it popped up so frequently, and I was like, why? Is there nothing else playing? Or like, why is it always this goddamn song? And the track that pissed me off the most was called Invasion. This track obviously was meant to sound like you're sneaking around, infiltrating some sort of base, and it achieved that, and you did do that quite frequently in the game. But like, I heard it so fucking much. But on the flip side, there were a few solid tracks, like the ship that served kind of like a hub area. That was pretty empowering, you know, sounded like it was prepping you for an adventure. And then there were other songs that played where things got emotional between characters that I found forgettable. So, I mean, just like any album, there's good songs and bad songs, boring songs. I guess there was one song that kind of got my attention. I actually had to stop and really like take in the town of Chevet. It was really nice to find a location that played music that made you feel like peace on Earth in the godforsaken world that is Xenogears. Like, I finally found like there was like some harmony in this world, damn it. So, I hope you enjoy Chevet, The Wind is Calling. Xenogears. I don't know what to rate this game, to be honest with you. I mean, for its time, I'm sure it was amazing, mind-blowing, deep. It conveyed so much rich character development and heinous plot twists, you know, especially considering its lack of budget and the personal issues the developer was going through. But I, for the life of me, cannot get excited and as hype as people who have played this game when it first came out, you know? I don't have that nostalgia. And I know the two things that are not clicking with me for this game are the pacing, but more importantly, the aging. Considering the story and the battle system was fucking grand, this is a minor gripe, but the platforming, it killed me. It killed me. Anytime I had to jump in this game, I know with my body language, I seem very kind of like distant from this game. I'm like, I'm actually really happy I did get to experience this classic. So now that leaves me with Xenosaga. That's the only one I'm missing, then I've played all of them. So yes, all the episodes of Xenosaga are on the list. When will I get to it? The world may never know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys enjoying my journey of playing old classic games. Make sure to slap a like on this video, and as is tradition, my top box is more of my reviews, and my bottom box is my Let's Play channel. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Stay awesome, and now, spoilers incoming! So, I know life can be hard sometimes, so I guess this is a little positive encouragement for you, but know that at least you're not kidnapped by a false religion, a religion that you were truly devoted to, tested on, ended up being a failed test, made into food, and repackaged to your family and friends, and they eat you, unbeknownst that you're food.